So we are doing a cheap versus expensive Lunchable edition. So first off, we got our cheap one, kind of a off-brand Lunchable. Yeah. Then we go over here where we have our expensive Lunchable, which is Lunchly. We're going to try our cheap versus expensive to see, do they taste alike? Do they taste different? Presentation. How does it taste? Is the pepperonis look good or do they look sketchy? That is what we are doing today. So starting off with the cheap one, presentation, it's a Lunchable. This is all that came with it. I will be giving prices just above it. So we have our 2 pizza biscuits. We have tomato sauce, crunch bar, which happens to be one of my favorites. We have pepperonis. I don't know if you can see it, but from my angle, they look mad sketchy. So then we got our cheese. That's it. About a tablespoon of cheese. So probably not going to be enough cheese for the way I like it, but it'll do. So this is the expensive one. It comes in a big box. It's got a drink with it. That one is obviously our cheap version, so it does not come with a drink, but this one does. So let's get into it. The plastic wrap on top is very different. Let's open her up. Okay, first thing I'm noticing is a lot more cheese than the cheap one. Also, a lot more pepperoni as well, and they don't look as sketchy. They look like regular pepperonis that I would eat straight out of the bag. So that's good. It comes with 3 pizza breads instead of 2. It also has a Feastables Crunch bar. I have not tried the Feastables Crunch one. I do love their dark chocolate, so I will definitely be excited to try that. And then we got a tomato sauce that looks like a yogurt tube, but I'm not complaining. So we're going to take these out, compare everything side by side, and give a rundown. Now that we have our things laid out on plates, we are going to compare each item. So here we have the cheap one, and then here we have the expensive Lunchable, also known as Lunchly, if I remember correctly. Yep, it's Lunchly. Anyways, first thing that I am noticing is the amount of cheese, because that is about halfway filled up, whereas this one is bigger and it is filled pretty much to the brim, if you know what I mean. And so that is the first thing that I noticed, was there was more cheese, which is the best part of pizza. Next up, we have the pepperonis. These are very small and they're very pale. Doesn't look very seasoned at all. Then you have these from the more expensive one that looks like regular pepperonis. They're bigger, you get a few more, you get more of them, and they just overall look better. Then you have a classic crunch bar versus Feastables. Obviously, it is going to be a judgment between the chocolates, because I do love a good chocolate. Then we have the cheap one sauce, very dark. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it is very dark in color, while this one is a little bit lighter in color in comparison. Now in the light, you can see them side by side. One of them is definitely lighter. So I'm excited to try it. Now you will be getting an honest review, because I don't like Lunchables. I have tried off-brands. I've had the actual Lunchables brand. I just never cared for them because there's just something about them I don't like. So I'm wondering if the expensive one will change my mind on do I like Lunchables or not anymore. So we also got a drink with it, Prime caffeine free. Thank the Lord, because I don't need caffeine. I have too much energy already. So yeah, I'm excited to try it. And just because I don't like Lunchables, you're definitely getting an honest review. So I just tried the sauce from the cheap Lunchable. Tastes like average Lunchable sauce that has been the same for years. Just tried the Lunchly sauce, and there is a little bit of a difference in taste. I can't really tell all that much. I would say maybe a little bit. I don't know. I'm going off of the sweetness scale, and it just, I guess, doesn't taste as sweet to me as the. Let me take. Yeah. So it tastes sweet, but it's not tasting as strong sweet as the cheap one, if that makes sense. So here's the Lunchly ones made, and here's the inexpensive one. I had to cover up the pepperonis with the cheese because the pepperonis scare me by how pale they are. So I covered them with the cheese for my sake. But yeah, let's give these a try. Now we are doing 2 tests. So the first test is cold, and the second test is heated up in the microwave. So we're going to try them hot and cold. I am so scared to eat this just because of the pepperonis, but for science, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. You don't really taste the pepperoni, so that's good. Now we are trying the expensive one. This one tastes like pepperoni. This one actually tastes like pepperoni. Like, what's the point of the pepperonis in the cheap one if it doesn't even taste like pepperoni? But hey. Whoop. Pretty good. Pretty good. So for the cheap one, I was scared of nothing because it literally tastes like they're not even there. Which is kind of sad because whenever I eat pepperoni pizza, that's the whole point of the pepperoni, is to taste the pepperoni. So that is one complaint that I have with that. That one, the expensive one, Lunchly, that one was really good. It was falling apart, kind of crumbly, but just like the other one. And you could actually taste the pepperoni. So for that gets a point. Gets a point for the pepperonis. That and the fact that it has one more pizza with it. The cheap one only has 2, whereas the Lunchly one has 3. So as far as price, it makes sense now. It makes sense. So I heated them up for about 20 seconds. That's about how long it took for it to heat up. But real quickly, we're going to try the Prime. I've had Prime once, and it was like a strawberry watermelon type thing. This is their, what's it called? Cherry freeze flavored. So we're going to try it and see what we think. Okay. Not bad. Tastes like a melted popsicle, which is probably what they were going for. But definitely tastes like a melted popsicle, which is what it's talking about. So, oh, I see it now. Cherry slushy. I get it. I like it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But I'm going to show you guys what it looks like warmed up. So this is the cheap one. And what I mean by cheap was it was like $1.60, I think it was. It was cheaper than the Lunchables actual brand, so that's why I got it. It's because we're doing cheap. We're not going based off of brands. Then we have blend chili. That one turned out looking delicious. So yeah, let's get ready to try these. I'm gonna try this one first. Ooh, it's hot. Got folded like a taco. Okay, so the bread got really soft warmed up. I can taste the pepperoni more now that it's been warmed up. Overall, pretty solid. Tastes like a pizza. So let's move on to this one. Let's see if it got softer in the microwave. It did. It got really soft in the microwave. Okay. It really has more bite to it because of the pepperonis. And I like how strong that the pepperoni flavor is. As far as flavor goes, it's very similar to the regular Lunchable. So we're going to do our final rating after the chocolate bars. So we can obviously tell which one's which by the words on top. Feastables is bigger than the Crunch Bar. Not by much, but by enough that it's noticeable. That it is bigger. So let's see how they taste. So let's try the Crunch Bar. Tastes like a classic Crunch Bar. So for the chocolate bar comparison, the Feastables definitely taste milkier. It's barely noticeable, the difference between the two, but as far as chocolate goes, they're both pretty good. Alrighty, so I have been a tough critic, and I went through all the pros, all the cons, all that stuff, wrote down which one was best depending on all the factors. One of them had a 0.5, while the other one had a 4.5. We all know which one had the 4.5 because I complimented it so much. Lunchly won by a landslide, even though the taste of it is very similar. I don't see a whole lot of differences between the two besides the pepperonis being better, there being a bigger portion size, and the drink was really good. Although I did not put points on for the drink. The drink was actually excluded. That was just me trying it out. If you are on a budget, I do recommend the cheap one because it was okay as far as Lunchables go. Honestly, we're not going to go through that today. Hope you guys are having a blessed day. And yeah, Lunchly won. So I will see you in the next one.